Thought for the day, February 9th, 2021. I used to live in London, and when I got into a black cab, oftentimes the cabbie would say to me, "Hey, Gov, where to?" I'd say, "St. Petersburg Place." He says, "How's the weather?" I say, "It's all right." "Enjoying it?" "Yeah, it's a bit rainy." Then he'd say, "Everyone's talking about the weather." I said, "Yeah." He says, "But no one's doing anything about it." I said, "You got that right." Now, what about the pandemic? The topic of a conversation at every table, every conversation, every gathering that we have is about the pandemic, about COVID-19. But no one's doing anything about it. We are victims. We are passive victims, accepting the situation and saying, "What can I do? I wish things would go back to the way they were." Let's think about that for a moment. How were things before COVID-19? Let's see. I would go into a restaurant and look at every single table and see everybody at the table, husbands and wives, dates, families, everybody on their device, not having family time, having device time, even by going out for dinner. Sitting in your living room, everyone's on their device. Sitting at the dinner table, everyone on their device. People are not even talking to each other, always on their device. I have a couple, as a therapist, I have a couple who are texting to each other. They don't speak to each other, they text to each other. And he says to her in my counseling office, "Why are you screaming at me?" I said, "How is she screaming at you? She's texting to you." He shows me the screen. Everything's in capital letters. She's screaming at me. I said, "Oh, I see. That's screaming. Got it." I say, why don't we go back to a different way? Let's not go back to the way it was before. Let's not go back to the pre-COVID days of using our devices to communicate. Let's go back to something old-fashioned from the old days that I'm used to. It's called talking to each other, face to face. Sit down and talk to your spouse. Talk to your significant other. Talk to your children, eye-to-eye contact. Get out a game, snakes and ladders, boggle, Scrabble, bananagrams. Sit on the floor and talk to your children. Call your mother, call your sister, your uncle. Zoom them, face to face. Get off the device and the texting and talks to people face to face. That's called this is going to be shocking to you. It's called a relationship. We have to have a relationship of face to face and talk to each other. I don't want to go back to the way things were. I want to get back into a real relationship with the people in my life. Try it. It'll be a new way of doing things. Well, it's an old way of doing things, but it's a renewed way of doing things. It's called communication and a real relationship.